Okay, welcome on in, one and all, fellow YouTubers. I'm back yet again with my lovely daughter. You want to say hello this time?
No.
Okay, as always.
Hi.
There you go. So the Oilers were continuing their road trip, taking on the Buffalo Sabres after being upset by the Columbus Blue Jackets. They were hoping to rebound against the Buffalo Sabres. In the first period, Ryan McLeod would kick things off just 29 seconds into that period, getting his 11th goal of the season from Draisaitl and Warren Foegele. Speaking of Warren Foegele, he would get a short-handed goal assist by Ryan McLeod with 5 minutes and 41 seconds remaining on the clock, making it 2-0 in favor of the Oilers. Tage Thompson would get on the goal scorer sheet himself, getting a power play goal with 4 minutes and 25 seconds remaining on the clock. For Thompson, that would be his 19th goal of the year. So after 20 minutes of play, it was 2-1 in favor of the Oilers. There was no scoring in the second. We have to jump ahead to the third period with 8 minutes and 21 seconds remaining. Jacob Bryson would give the uh, Buffalo Sabres their second goal of the game, his first of the season, tying the game up at 2. We would need extra time in this one to settle this one. There was no scoring in overtime, so we'd have to jump ahead to a shootout where Alex Tuck would get the game-winning goal for the Buffalo Sabres. So with that, Buffalo is sitting at 30, 30, and 5, still looking on the outside, looking in. Am I ever going to get that saying correct? Probably not. And as for the Edmonton Oilers, after suffering their second consecutive loss, they're still sitting second in that Pacific Division with a record of 38, 21, and 3. All right, the next matchup took place in New Jersey. We have the Devils, and they were playing against the Carolina Hurricanes.
Please don't say the same way.
Okay. So.
Carry off the paper.
Okay, well, I'll give you this, and then I'll hold this, and we'll keep going back and forth. All right. So in the first, Nietzsche would kick things off for the Hurricanes, getting his 20th goal of the season from Tara Vinen and Scott Neuwiesen. In the second period, Hischier would tie the game up with 4 minutes and 33 seconds to go on the clock. For Hischier, that would be his 21st goal of the season, assisted by Jack Hughes.
Take a sip of your drink.
Yeah, of course. In the third period, Kotkaniemi would give the Hurricanes a 2-1 lead.
Okay.
Yep. For Kotkaniemi, that'd be his 11th goal of the season, assist by Fast and Pesce. Svechnikov would give the Hurricanes a 3-1 lead with 2 minutes 11 seconds to go in the period. For Svechnikov, that'd be his 15th goal of the season from Tara Vinen and Brady Shea. Timo Meier would cut the deficit to 3-2 with just 12 seconds remaining on the clock. For Meier, that'd be his 18th goal of the season from Hischier and Marino. And the Devils pulled their goalie. They had nothing else to lose. Tara Vinen would score with 4 seconds after that, increasing the lead to 4-2. And that's where we would stand at the end of regulation. So for the Hurricanes, they're 38, 19, and 6, still sitting second in that Metropolitan Division. As for the Devils, after the loss, 31, 29, and 4, and a very disappointing season considering they had so much hype and so much buildup around this team. And I think I honestly, when I did my previews for hockey, I had them as being maybe a contender to get that Metropolitan Division, but it's looking very bleak that they'll even be able to make a wild card spot this late in the season. All right, the next matchup is a battle of the original 6 franchises as the Toronto Maple Leafs were visiting my team that I love, but they are doing so horrible the last 3 seasons because they're in a rebuild, the Montreal Canadiens. Waiting. All right. So, as usual, I'll put this here. HIJKLMNOP. So, in the first period, Mike Matheson would get his 9th goal of the season from Caulfield and Slafkovsky, just 38 seconds into that period. So, after 1 period of play, it was 1-0 for the Montreal Canadiens. In the second, Bobby McCann would score just 39 seconds into that frame, getting his 10th goal of the year from Kampf. So 2 early goals in 2 periods. It was all tied up at 1 heading into the third. Just when I had my hopes up thinking that maybe this might be able to be tied after 40 minutes of play, Max Domi, a former Hab, would give the Toronto Maple Leafs a 2-1 lead with 1 minute and 19 seconds remaining on the clock. For Domi, that would be his 8th goal of the season from Yarncroke and TJ Brody. In the third period, Alex Newhook would tie the game up on a power play, his 10th of the season from Slafkovsky and Mike Matheson. And then John Tavares would break the tie with 6 minutes and 46 seconds to go. his 20th of the year from McCabe and Max Domi. So 3-2 would be the final score in favor of Toronto. So with the win, the Leafs are 37-19-8. They still have the third seat locked in the Atlantic Division. As for the Bleu Blanc et Rouge, they are 24. Bleu Blanc et Rouge, they are 24-30-10. All right, the next match up took place. We'll take a look at the Vancouver Canucks, and they're playing host to the Winnipeg Jets. Nope, you're right.
Okay.
All right. Now, in no way does this go in actual order. These are just my four favorite teams that my kid loves to cheer for, between the Oilers, the Canucks, the Habs, and the Devils. So I'm very much aware that the Canucks did play a later game, but because if you follow certain teams, those teams will be on your screen, and then the rest of the schedule follows suit. So once I get through this, then the rest of the schedule will make sense. So in the first, JT Miller will kick things off for the Canucks, getting his 32nd goal of the year. He probably on pace for a 40-goal season too. Assists by Höglander and Quinn Hughes, 2 minutes and 5 seconds into that opening period. Nils Höglander would score with 6 minutes and 13 seconds to go on the clock, getting his 20th of the year from Pius Sutter and Elias Pettersson. Philip Giuseppe would score with exactly 3 minutes to go on the clock. For him, that'll be his 5th goal of the year, assisted by Teddy Bluger. After 20 minutes of play, it was 3-0 in favor of the Canucks. Want to try doing the second period goal?
No.
Okay, of course not. So in the second, on a power play, Elias Pettersson would increase the lead to 4-0, getting his 31st goal of the year from Garland and Quinn Hughes. 4 minutes and 4 seconds into that period. In the third period, Pius Sutter would increase the lead to 5-0 with just under 5 minutes to go. And for him, that'd be his 13th goal of the year. And that's where we would stand at the end of regulation. 5-0 would be the final score in favor of the Vancouver Canucks. Okay, you take that. I'll take this. So with that, the Canucks are sitting at 42-17-7. They still have the first place locked in the Pacific Division. As for the Winnipeg Jets, despite the loss, they're still sitting second in that Central Division with a record of 40-18-5. All right, now where the next matchup took place in Columbus between the Blue Jackets and the Nashville Predators. Blue Jackets.
I know that. I see.
Okay. It's the Blue Jackets, just in case you're curious. You passed them. And there you go. All right. So a low scoring one in this one, so this shouldn't take too long to review. There was no scoring in the first. We have to jump ahead to the second. 1 minute and 50 seconds into that second period, Alexander Texier would get his 10th goal of the season, assisted by Provorov.
Wait, are you sure?
Huh? Oh, hold on. Sorry. In the first period, Kiefer Sherwood would get the Nashville Predators on the goal scorer sheet, getting his 8th goal of the season, with 7 minutes and 41 seconds remaining on the clock.
This is why you always check before it's, I don't know.
Yeah, that's the way you always double check, right? So in the second, Alexander Texier would tie the game up with 1 minute and 50 seconds into that period, getting his 10th of the year, assisted by Provorov. In the third, Evangelista would give the Predators a 2-1 lead. It would be the game-winning goal. That'd be his 13th of the season from Janikowski and Novak. So 2-1 would be the final in favor of the Nashville Predators. So with the victory, they're 37-25-3. They currently have the number 1 wildcard spot in the Western Conference. As for the Blue Jackets, they still have the worst record in the Eastern Conference with a record of 22-32-10. All right, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 more games to go.
I was counting.
Cool. All right, the next matchup took place in Boston, where we had the Bruins, and they were playing against the Pittsburgh Penguins. A lot of games on the weekend, huh?
What do you think?
I am grabbing the wrong thing.
You can't read off the paper.
No, I can't. In the second period, there was no scoring in the first. David Pastrnak get his 40th goal of the season. This guy's easily on pace for 50 goals. This is nuts. Assisted by DeBrusk and Zacha, 2 minutes and 26 seconds into that frame. Pavel Zacha would get his 16th goal of the season with 7 minutes and 12 seconds remaining on the clock, assisted by Geeky and Laurie. A power play goal to note. 1 minute and 35 seconds remaining. Brad Marchand would increase the lead to 3-0. For him, that'd be his 27th goal of the year from Charlie Coyle and Elias Lindholm. Hampus Lindholm, I should say. In the third period, Chris Letang would finally get the Pittsburgh Penguins on the board, 2 minutes and 51 seconds into the period. For him, that'd be his 8th goal of the year, assisted by Crosby. Jake DeBrusk would increase the lead to 4-1, getting his 15th goal of the year from Brad Marchand and Hampus Lindholm. And Pavel Zacha would get his second goal of the game, his 17th of the season, assisted by Pasternak and Danton Heinen. And that goal happened with 4 minutes and 27 seconds to go in the period. So with the victory, the Bruins are 38-13-15, still sitting second in that Atlantic Division. And with another loss, the Penguins are 28-26-8. And this late in the season, it's going to be impossible to play catch-up. So it's very well looking like it could be 2 consecutive years without any playoff hockey in the Steel City. The next matchup took place in Florida, where we have the Panthers. They are playing against the Calgary Flames. Holy, going fast. All right.
It's fast?
Yeah, that's fast. So, this will be a one-sided affair. Tarasenko, one of the newer acquisitions from the Florida Panthers.
Don't forget that first period.
There's nothing in the first period.
I know that's what you say.
There was no scoring in the first period. Thank you. Thanks. In the second period, Vladimir Tarasenko, the newest acquisition from the Florida Panthers, will get his 18th goal of the season, just 23 seconds into that second frame. Sharon Govich would tie the game up at 1, assist by Kadri and Kuzmenko, and for him that'd be a power play goal, 5 minutes and 51 seconds into that frame. Barkov would give the Panthers a 2-1 lead, his 16th of the season from Reinhart and Tarasenko, 6 minutes and 19 seconds into that frame. With 6 minutes and 48 seconds to go, Sam Bennett would increase the lead to 3-1, getting his 15th goal of the year from Forsling and Matthew Tkachuk. Tarasenko will get his second goal of the game, his 19th of the year from Forsling and Ekman-Larsson, and that will happen with 5 minutes and 5 seconds to go on the clock. In the third period, Kevin Stenlund would increase the lead to 5-1 with a shorthanded goal, 4.5 minutes into that frame, assisted by Louis Strinen. So 5-1 would be the final score in favor of the Panthers. So with the win, Florida is sitting at 44-17-4, still sitting first in that Atlantic Division. And with the loss, the Flames are 31-27-5. They're currently on the outside looking in when it comes to the postseason. And it very well could be 2 straight years with no playoff hockey in the city of Calgary.
And so the next teams?
Is the next one Ottawa and San Jose?
I think so.
Cool. Do you know the way to San Jose? I think that's a song. In the first period, Bordelou would get a power play goal, his third of the season from Zetterlund and Granlund. In the second period, Tim Stützle would get a power play goal of his own, tying the game up at 1, his 15th of the year from Sanderson and Brady Tkachuk. Bordelou would get his second goal of the game, also on the power play, his 4th of the year, assisted by Granlund and Eklund, and that goal happened with 5 minutes and 23 seconds to go in the period. There was no scoring in the third, so 2-1 would be the final score in favor of the Sharks. So with the win, the Sharks get their 16th win of the season. They have 16-40-7 on the season. And as for the Senators, 25-33-4. They have the second worst record in the Eastern Conference, so it's very unlikely that they make a trip to the postseason this year. All right, the next matchup took place in Tampa Bay, where we had the Lightning. They are playing against the Philadelphia Flyers. Would you say this is a close game?
No.
No? Okay. It was a blowout. Victor Hedman would kick things off for the Lightning.
Do you think it's a close game?
Oh, yeah. Easy. In the first period, Victor Hedman would kick things off for the Lightning, getting his 11th goal of the year from Kucherov and Radish. Nick Paul would get his 18th goal of the season, a power play goal of 5 minutes and 55 seconds into that frame, assisted by newcomer Anthony Duclair and Radish. Connor Sheary would increase the lead to 3-0, 9 minutes and 10 seconds into that frame, getting his third of the year from Radish and Esimot. Braden Point would get a power play goal, his 33rd of the season from Stamkos and Victor Hedman, and that goal happened with 9 minutes, 11 seconds to go in the frame. So 4-0 for the Lightning after 1 period of play. Anthony Duclair would get his first goal as a member of the Tampa Bay Lightning since being traded from the San Jose Sharks to them, assisted by Steven Stamkos, and that goal happened with 4 minutes and 18 seconds to go in the frame. After 40 minutes of play, it was 5-0. Pretty close, right?
No.
No? Okay. In the third period, Victor Hedman would get his second goal of the game, his 12th of the year, assisted by Points and Radish. And that goal happened 7 minutes and 33 seconds in the period. The Lightning had yet another power play, and Hagel would strike, getting his 23rd of the year from Radish and Esimot, 8 minutes and 16 seconds in the period.
That's not a close game. So
7-0 is the final score. It's like a football game, 7-0. So with the victory, the Lightning are 34, 25, and 6. They currently have the number one wildcard spot in the Eastern Conference. And despite the loss, the Flyers are 33, 24, and 8. They are third in the Metropolitan Division. What's next?
Chicago and Washington.
Chicago and Washington?
Oh.
All right. Chicago, we're on a road trip taking on the Washington Capitals.
Oh.
Waiting.
No, they're going against the same as those.
Are they?
Yeah.
Oh, well, maybe if you just went that way the first time, you would have been there a long time ago. Like maybe a minute ago. You could have had this on the screen. That's fine. Why am I looking at this? Keep going back for that. I should be looking at this. So in the first period, Lapierre would kick things off for the Washington Capitals, getting his 7th goal of the season from John Carlson and Protas.
Oh.
Getting bored?
No.
Scarboza would increase lead to 2-0 for the Washington Capitals, getting his third of the season from Van Riemsdyk and John Carlson. Tom Wilson will get a power play goal with 6 minutes and 24 seconds on the clock, getting his 15th of the year from Dylan Strome and Alex Ovechkin. After 20 minutes of play, it was 3-0 in favor of the Capitals. In the second period, can you read that guy's name?
Can I read Sonny Milano?
Yeah, Sonny Milano would get his 10th goal of the year, assisted by Protas, and that goal happened with 2 minutes and 36 seconds to go on the clock. In the third period, Chicago would finally get on the board. Whoop, whoop. Who scored?
Tyler Johnson.
Yeah, he would get his 13th goal of the season from Tenorti and Zach Sanford, 9 minutes and 49 seconds into the period. But unfortunately, the Hawks were not able to mount a comeback. 4-1 would be the final score in favor of the Washington Capitals. They are sitting at 30, 23, and 9. They are trying to make a late push for the postseason, but it's going to be very tight. I'll say that right now. And for the Chicago Blackhawks, still have the worst record in the NHL, 16, 43, and 5. I'm sure they're looking forward to this year's draft. Who's playing next?
Nobody.
Nobody's playing next? All right.
Yeah, Seattle's going again. The St. Louis.
St. Louis is going against St. Louis? So it must be a practice.
I get past them.
All right. Finally, we had 2 blue shirts going up against each other as the Blues went into New York to take on the Rangers.
Hey, wrong thing.
So in the first, Benson Trocheck would kick things off for the New York Rangers, getting his 23rd of the year from Panarin and Adam Fox, a power play goal, 5 minutes and 51 seconds into that frame. Jimmy Vesey would increase the lead to 2-0 with 23 seconds remaining on the clock, getting his 13th of the year, assisted by Gaudreau. There's no scoring in the second. We had to jump ahead to the third period where, can you say that guy's name?
Chris Kreider?
Kreider.
Kreider.
Yeah. He would get his 32nd goal of the year from Panarin and Adam Fox. That would be a power play goal to note. And let's try this guy's last. Try this guy.
Kaku?
Yeah, you got it. He would get his 8th goal of the year from Gustafsson and Wenberg, one of the newer acquisitions from the Rangers. But that would be a power play goal with 8 minutes and 37 seconds to go in the frame. So 4-0 would be the final score in favor of the New York Rangers. So with the victory, the Rangers are 41, 18, and 4, still sitting first in that Metropolitan Division. As for the St. Louis Blues, it's very likely that they will not make the postseason with a record of 32, 29, and 3 this late in the season. All right. 2 more games to go, right?
Mm-hmm.
All right. We have, who's next?
The Detroit and the Vegas.
All right. Detroit Red Wings and the Vegas Golden Knights.
Okay. There.
Oh, it's done?
Yeah.
Okay. So in the first, want to try saying that guy's name?
Pavel Dorofeyev.
Sure, why not? I don't even know how to say that.
Just Pavel.
Pavel would kick things off for the Vegas Golden Knights in the first period, getting his 8th of the year, assist by Shea Theodore and Chandler Stevenson. Try saying this guy's name.
Jonathan Marchessault.
Marchessault. Yeah. Try saying that name 5 times fast. Sure. He would get his 33rd goal this season from Jack Eichel and Noah Hannafin, one of the newer acquisitions from the Vegas Golden Knights. And that goal happened with 5 minutes and 24 seconds in the period, with just 28 seconds to go in the period. Michael Rasmussen, that's right, would get his 13th goal of the year from Sider and David Perron. After 20 minutes of play, it was 2-1 in favor of the Golden Knights. Okay, you can't possibly screw this guy's name up.
JT Comfort.
Comfort, that's right, would get his 16th goal of the year from Sider and Andrew Kopp. 2 minutes and 44 seconds into that second period, a power play goal.
Brandon McNabb
would tie the game up for the Vegas Golden Knights. 9 minutes and 53 seconds. That would be his 3rd goal of the year from Bryson and Jack Eichel. Good luck saying this one.
Shane Gostisbehere.
It's confusing. I think it's like Shane Gostisbehere. Yeah, I can't remember where he's from, but it's not an original name. He would get his 10th goal of the year from Rasmussen and David Perron, tying the game up at 3. Let's try this guy's name one more time.
Jonathan Marchessault.
Marchessault would score 2 more times after that, giving the Vegas Golden Knights a 4-3 lead with 2 minutes and 44 seconds to go on the clock. That'd be his 34th goal of the year, assisted by Eichel and Barbashev. And then
Jonathan Marchessault
would get a natural hat trick, his 35th of the season for Barbashev and Noah Hannafin. And that goal happened with 1 minute and 7 seconds to go on the clock. So the Vegas Golden Knights would bounce back and get a huge win over the Detroit Red Wings. So with the win, the Vegas Golden Knights are 34-23-7. Still have the second seed, still have the second wildcard spot locked in, but have no fear as you still have the same amount of points as the Kings. So if the Kings happen to lose their next game or two and the Vegas happens to win, they can easily find themselves back in the top 3 of that Pacific Division. As for the Detroit Red Wings, 31-25-6 is where they stand at the end of this loss, but they have the second wildcard spot in the Eastern Conference locked in as we speak. All right, the last game. Holy cow, the last game.
Okay, I read everyone's name, so you don't need to ask me.
What?
I read everyone's name.
So you can do it?
No.
Okay. All right, so the Dallas Stars went into Los Angeles to take on the Kings. So in the first period, it's a good thing I scrolled up just to double check. Kevin Fiala would kick things off just 26 seconds into that opening period, getting his 21st of the year, assisted by Drew Doughty. In the second period, Radek Faska would tie the game up, getting his 6th goal of the year from Craig Smith, 9 minutes and 24 seconds on the clock. And then less than a minute after that, just 18 seconds after that, Jason Robertson would give the Stars a 2-1 lead, getting his 22nd goal of the season from Joe Pavelski and Lindell. After 40 minutes of play, it was 2-1 in favor of the Stars. In the third period, would increase Johnston, that's right. Would increase the lead to 3-1, 6 minutes and 47 seconds in that frame, getting his 23rd goal of the year from Matthew Shane and Marchment.
Joe
Pavelski would score with 3 minutes and 40 seconds to go, giving the Stars a 4-1 lead, assisted by Jason Robertson. So the final score would be 4-1 in favor of the Stars. With the win, they're 40-17-9, still holding that first placed spot in the Central Division. And as for the Los Angeles Kings, despite the loss, they have the 3rd spot in the Pacific Division with a record of 32-20-11. But just as I talked about with the Vegas Golden Knights prior to that, they still have the same amount of points. So if the Kings happen to lose their next game and Vegas happens to win, Vegas will obviously take over 3rd spot in that Pacific Division. So it's going to be very close this late in the season as to who's going to finish in the top 3 and who's going to drop into a wild card spot. All right, that takes care of our Saturday reviews. I apologize. Thank you very much for tuning along, and thank you, the audience, for tuning in. As always, if you're new to this channel and you like this type of content, please feel free to hit the sub button. I'd be very grateful and very appreciative. You have anything last minute to say?
Please follow my YouTube account.
What's it called?
Just Hockey with another Y.
Just Hockey with 2 Ys?
Yeah.
All right, so I guess if you go on YouTube and search Just Hockey with 2 Ys, you'll be able to find my lovely daughter's account. What do you do on your little channel?
I post hockey stuff.
She posts hockey stuff. So please feel free to check out her channel. I'll see if I can put her channel in the comment section below. And yeah, as always,
Take care.